Welcome, everybody. I'm Nicolò Cividini. I am the EUROGIA office manager, and I will be the moderator for this session today. Welcome to the Eureka Cluster workshop. This is a workshop intended to introduce to anyone that is new to the clusters program, what we do, how we do it. So before starting, maybe with a look at the agenda, a few information. The session will be recorded. The records will be, you can find the records in our website, in ESE website, but we will also send it to each of the registrants after the sessions. So today, the agenda starts with a first introduction to the Eureka Cluster program by Sébastien Aubron. Sébastien is the CCF, the cluster coordinators for industry. Then there will be, after each session, there will be a Q&A small session. So you can address the questions directly live to our speakers, or you can also address some questions using the chat box. In that case, I will read the questions and address it to the speakers after each section. So after the introduction to the Eureka Cluster program, we will have the 5 presentations from the 5 Eureka clusters. Each representative of the clusters offices will have that presentation. Then another Q&A session, followed by another 5 short presentations about impactful cluster projects, again from the cluster offices. And after a coffee break, we will come back with a specific session about the clusters project cycle from matchmaking to impact, in particular support to public authorities and project participants. This session again, this presentation again given by Sébastien Aubron. And we're gonna end the session with a presentation and live demonstration of the public authorities online portal for you. So I ask you to remain muted during the whole seminar webinar. In case you want, of course, to address a question, you can raise your hand and then unmute yourself. So thank you for coming here today, and I will give the floor to Sébastien for the first presentation. We can start now. I can stop. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes, full screen.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much, Nicolo. I will now, as you said, give and good afternoon now to everyone. Thank you for joining this workshop. So I will now give an introduction to the Eureka Clusters program. In this presentation, we will look specifically at the clusters' main principles, but we will also narrow down the scope to their core activity, which is to run calls for proposals and to monitor and manage projects afterwards. So specifically, we will see what a typical cluster project looks like, and the goal will be to provide you as public authorities with a unified view of what a clusters project is about. And finally, I will stress some of the most notable benefits of engaging in clusters, both from the perspective of a participating company or organization and from the point of view of a public authority. Okay, so let's start with some principles. So first, I think we should mention that the clusters are part of Eureka. So as most of you know, Eureka is the world's biggest public network for international cooperation in research, development, and innovation. It is present in more than 45 countries, I think 47 countries members as of now. Since 1985, I've put some figures, but Eureka has mobilized around 50 billion euros of public-private investment, and it has supported over 7,000 groundbreaking projects, which have enabled to impact economies and societies. So this is in this context that the clusters have long been, I would say, a long-standing and historically successful program. And clusters is a different and unique instrument in the context of Eureka. So now let's see what the Eureka Clusters program is about and how we could define it. So as I've put on the slide, the Eureka Clusters program is a long-term intergovernmental initiative. It supports research, development, and innovative cluster communities in strategically important areas. Concretely, it operates in close cooperation with public authorities and industry players, and the program is based on long-standing industry-driven ecosystems. So when we talk about these ecosystems, we cover the whole set of actors from large companies to SMEs, research organizations and universities, but also end users. And I think we can safely say that those actors are used to cooperate efficiently in clusters activities and their flexible environment. Okay, so as explained, the clusters program is a Eureka instrument, and I can hear myself in echo, please. Yeah, so the clusters program is a Eureka instrument, and
now wait, we can see if someone is not muted. No, everyone is muted. Try again.
Yeah. So
okay.
One of the core goals of the clusters program, as I was about to say, is to support the current 5 Eureka clusters, and so they bring more impact for the participating organization and countries, and we see them there on the slide. They revolve around strategically important domains, so I will just name the clusters as they will present themselves afterwards. But CELTIC-NEXT is operating on information and communication technologies. EUROGIA is about renewable energies and low carbon energy technologies. ITEA covers software innovation and digital transition. SMART is the Eureka cluster for advanced manufacturing and production technologies. And Xecs is the Eureka cluster for electronic components and systems. So the core activity of these clusters is to operate call for proposals, and this is what you can see on the right part of the slide. And basically, we have 2 types of calls for proposals. We have the cluster calls, or what we call the regular bottom-up calls, which are the bread and butter of clusters activities. And we also have these joint cluster call instruments that enables to approach more specific and cross-cutting themes at certain points in time and depending on the interest of industry and the countries. And for instance, so we won't present that today, but for instance, there was 2 joint calls on artificial intelligence in 2020 and 2021, and there was last year a joint call on sustainability. Okay, so now where are Eureka and Eureka clusters positioned in the European innovation landscape? So on the left side of the slide, you can see there the national programs, and as we can see, there is quite a lot of them. There's also regional programs, and on the right side and in the middle, you can see the main 2 international funding programs, which are Eureka in the middle and the European Commission's program on the right. So we may ask ourselves what differences between these 2 mechanisms. So I've come up with a few differentiators, which I will share with you today. So the first one is the funding principle, which is totally different. So in Eureka programs, the funding comes from the European programs from the Commission. The funding comes from the Commission. So what does it mean? It means that if you have companies from whichever countries in the project, it will be the commission still funding the project. This is totally different in Eureka and in Eureka clusters. For instance, if we have a company, German company and a Spanish partner, funding will come from those two countries. I think a second difference is the research level. So while the Commission is focusing more on early stage research or research lower TRLs research, Eureka and clusters specifically are closer to the market. So they cover higher technological readiness level, and they lead to tangible impact for participating organizations. So they're quite different in that aspect, and we could even say they're quite complementary clusters in the Commission's program. A third difference is the core themes. So in the European Commission programs, we usually have an overall, a very specific topic for RD&I funding projects. And this is quite different in Eureka, which is bottom-up, and in clusters specifically. In clusters, as I said earlier, we've got some broad domains, and any topic and good innovation which belongs to that domain can be supported. A last difference is the geographical scope of projects, which is obviously very European-centered in the European Commission's funding program, while in Eureka, as I said, we've got 47 member states countries, so the scope is very different and much more international. Okay, so now, as I said in my introduction, I would like to narrow down the scope to the type of projects that we see generally in cluster calls. As you can imagine, we have some variations between the clusters, but here is what I would call a typical cluster project. So cluster projects are mid-sized projects, as they are often bigger than national projects, but maybe not as large as some European Commission's initiatives. And this is reflected in these average figures. So on average, we see in clusters projects between 3 and 5 countries. In Eureka, there is a rule of, as you know, of minimum 2 member countries for any project to be eligible. However, in clusters project, we usually see more countries involved. And in fact, this is even something I think we encourage for 2 reasons. First, to maximize chances that the project will be funded finally, and second, for a bigger impact. The project duration is usually 3 years. There is on average between 3 and 14 participants. Again, in Eureka, the minimum would be 2 partners from 2 different member state countries, but in clusters, we advise more. In fact, we recommend to have sufficient partners in consortium. What we do not recommend, however, is for project applicants just to bring new partners in the consortium to make it big for the sake of it. Partners should really look for complementarities and really to make the best out of their innovation. Finally, the budget is on average between 2 and 20 million euros. So we are talking here about eligible costs. That is a quite broad range, but this is because there is no minimum or maximum budget in clusters. So I've given some main figures about the typical cluster project. I would like now to give you some main characteristics in clusters projects. The first one is that the clusters projects are led by industry. The funding comes from the public authorities, but usually the strategic direction of project is led by large companies or SMEs. The projects go beyond the state of the art, so it means they extend the solutions which are already on the market. And this is important for project applicants to make it clear in their proposals. Clusters projects are also bottom-up, so the project applicants have the freedom to design the project topic they want based on their own needs or the needs of their customers. Of course, it should fit in the overall cluster's scope and domain, but that leaves some flexibility, I believe, for innovators. As I touched upon earlier on, the projects are close to the market. So we are talking that from TRL 3, 4 up to 7 by the end of the project. And most importantly, it means that the project should be able to deliver on the market 3 years on average after the end of the project. And finally, these projects, clusters projects, are expected to cover the whole value chain in their respective industry. Okay, so as you know, the clusters program represents an important share of the Eureka portfolio of funding instruments. So I've put some figures here on the screen. As of today, or as of September 2023, the Eureka clusters represent a total of 112 currently running projects. This represents a total cost of 728 million euros of public-private investment. If we have a look at the pie chart on the right, this represents the type of participants in cluster running projects, and this is based on the budget. We can see that large industry and SMEs are the most represented types of partners. And this is a specificity of cluster projects. We also see that universities or academics and research organizations are also very important partners, and they contribute, for instance, for more early stages level of activities within the project. So this is really a good representativity of the type of actors that we see in clusters project. Here is the leading organization in Eureka clusters. So this is what in our internal jargon we call the communities. As you can see, we've got a quite big proportion of large companies from the different technological domains, but we also have some SMEs and some research organizations. About the role these organizations play in the clusters, they're mostly project participants, but we also have cluster board members, technical project reviewers. Some are mentors or even what is it called? Well, mentors or reviewers. Sorry, I was looking for the words. Oh, yeah. Okay, so about the type of impact that clusters project generates, we see a different wide range of impacts. Let's say the innovation impact is key. This is what I think clusters are all about. We are talking about highly innovative projects. So on the slide, you can see we have some breakthrough innovations, which means, for instance, we have some new cutting-edge technologies that are created. But the clusters also support incremental level of innovation, which means we have also projects focusing on smaller improvements or upgrades made to existing products or processes, for instance. The economic and societal impact of clusters project is also quite significant. So we have two statistics that can support this statement based on a previous survey. The first one is that on average, the participants of cluster projects achieve an annual turnover growth of 13% after the project ends. So that is quite significant. The second data is that after the end of the project, the employment growth for these same partners is usually increasing by 7%. So these are, I think, quite telling figures, and they also help to explain why I think it's interesting for public authorities to engage in the program, as they have a direct return on their investment. Okay, so we are getting towards the end of this presentation. So here is a summary of what the clusters can offer, and I would say of the main reasons why beneficiaries and countries are interested and are engaging in the program. So clusters offer opportunities to fund transnational research and development consortium. Clusters offer privileged access to the best companies and knowledge institutes. Clusters projects are initiated by industry, but they're in line with the national public authorities. And I think this is also of value for the public authorities themselves. The clusters offer a global and trusted cooperation in the communities. In fact, this is a question we asked to project participants not so long ago, and about the reason why they engage in clusters, and this came up as one of the most important reasons for them. And finally, the Eureka clusters offer support to of experts with an industrial viewpoint. Okay, this is it for me. So I thank you very much for your attention. I've also put some cluster call deadlines and link on the slide, and I would like to welcome any question you may have. Thank you very much, and I hand over to you, Nicolo.
Thank you, Sébastien. Just a very small comment from my side. The EUROGIA deadline has been is extended for 1 week until the 24th of November. So there was a question in the chat box, but Jan already replied to it. But maybe it's good that we can say this also to the whole public. The question was, well, Sébastien, maybe it's addressed to you in this case, what it means for beyond state of the art for the projects. Does it refer to innovative character, newness of developed technology and solutions? So, and Jan talk about TRL 3 up to 5, 6, but there is no need at first that it is already generating a revenue. Do you wish to say something else, Sébastien?
Yeah, so I think Jan responded for the TRL. As regard the question on the state of the art, I think what is important in cluster project applications is to define what is already existing in terms of new technologies, of course, in line with what you propose. And also what we see sometimes is missing is how in this context the project offers unique value. And it is very important to emphasize this aspect as well, and to make it clear for the countries what will be the return for them as well. So this is what I mean, at least, by extending the state of the art. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions live? Of course, you can raise your hand and address them now. I see no raises hands. So I believe we can go to the next phase of this webinar with this workshop. So now we're going to show 5 different presentations from the 5 Eureka Clusters offices. So I will invite at first the director of CELTIC-NEXT, Xavier Priem, for his presentation. When you're ready, Xavier.
See my screen.
We can see the screen, but we can see the teams. Okay. Now we can see the full screen of your presentation. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So let's start. So thanks to all to connect to this webinar and discover the clusters, or rediscover the clusters for some of you. I'm the director of CELTIC-NEXT, and I will introduce you to CELTIC-NEXT. So we have a world industry-driven Eureka Clusters program, information and communication technology, sorry for the abbreviations, not-for-profit cluster involving major ICT industry players, service providers, many SMEs, research institutions, so RTOs, and academia to enable a secure, trusted, and sustainable digital society. We are in the ECP, but as all the other clusters here, we were existing before. We were regrouped in the ECP, and we started operations in 2003. So we are about 20 years of existence. Sorry if I have a flipped version of this slide, but I just wanted to go back to this picture where we are located in the European innovation landscape as clusters and in Eureka, but with an instantiation about well-known programs at national level. So like in Germany, 6G Platform, 6G Bridge in Finland, Future Network Services in Netherlands, and so on. So these are the national programs we collaborate also with. and CECG-SNS, which is the joint undertaking for networks and services within the Horizon program from the European Commission. So we are in between, and we profit from this position to propose international, transnational program with following the national priorities. So these are some KPIs from Celtic, just rapidly 180 plus projects, 1.2 billion euro co-investment since the creation, many countries, and a remarkable number of SMEs. 60% of our projects participants are SMEs. And we have helped developed in that way more than 1,500 products and so on. So we are open to all entities who want to align their business targets with the national public authorities, targets and priorities, running joint R&D and I projects to advance the development of and uptake of advanced ICT technologies and solutions to accelerate their own time to market. I won't go into details here, but mainly our mission is to help the industry to stay competitive and to have its place in the global map of ICT technologies and help Eureka manufacturers, because I can't put European anymore because the network is bigger. So Eureka manufacturers and service providers with a high degree of Eureka sovereignty, and help national authorities, industry and societies in their endeavor in the technologies of ICT to get the full competitive advantages, the commercial returns of being in the forefront of this new digital society. We are doing bottom-up calls, like our colleagues from the other clusters. We have also so-called flagship projects, which are of a different nature. I will come back to that. And we participate, of course, to the Eureka ECP joint calls. This is what you have seen already, the typical bottom-up call projects. We are not that much different from our colleagues, but when we speak about flagship projects, it's an hybridization of bottom-up and top-down models, and where we have vertical sub-projects, horizontal working groups, and therefore those projects are larger. So they are typically between 50 and 90 participants of all types. The number of countries is between 5 and 10. The market and tech value chain are fully represented. This is common with the bottom-up projects. And budgets are then higher because we are looking at 50 to 75 million euro typical value of the entire flagship. We are based on a community, so we are representing an industry community in the area of information and communications technologies. Our core group is made of those companies that you can see here. So from service providers like mobile network operators or fixed network operators like T-Mobile, Orange, and so on. Technology providers like Nokia, Ericsson, Netash. We have also a satellite operator who recently joined us because we are looking heavily in the direction of non-terrestrial networks. And we have also some other operators and IMEC as a research institute. But these are just the emergent part of the iceberg, where we have 1,150 community members across 41 countries who participated in CELTIC-NEXT and want to continue working with CELTIC-NEXT and the public authorities of the network. So we are, just back rapidly, we are developing a document every 4 to 8 years. So the last version is from April 2021. We are working on the new version, which is our mission, vision, and roadmap document. We are not isolated, so we have passed agreements with the European Space Agency, where we are defining a joint roadmap, looking at how we can leverage the different funding instruments to enable companies, research type organizations, and academia to move from lower TRLs to higher TRLs near to the market, thanks to CELTIC. But the early stages are, for example, made with ESA as feasibility studies. And we have the same kind of agreement also with the CGIA SNS Association in order to align also at European level with what is done in the SNSTO. So this is helping companies to find the best program where they can make their proposals and get funded. So I won't effectively not go to the details here, but our DNA is bottom up, like our friends from the other clusters. We are close to the market. We have a high success rate from proposal to projects running, and we are very flexible thanks to the PCR, so the project change request mechanism that we are implementing and helping consortia to adapt to new conditions, failing companies or changing the market or new ideas they want to bring in, new partners we want to bring in, and so on. So you will have the handout of those slides, so you will be able to go to that proposal. We are, of course, not having all countries participating in all our calls at each time, but we are usually counting on 12 to 16 countries supporting each of our calls. And it depends on the national priorities, the national calls open, and so on. And this is working very well, thanks to your support. So we are running 2 calls per year. One in spring, one in autumn, which are following a one-step process. So it's directly a full proposal that we are receiving from the proposers. That's a difference with our colleagues. And we have all the information needed for you on our website. And you can click on each of the boxes of the call process to have more information in details. So it should be spring calls 2024, sorry. The dates, we don't have fixed dates for now, but we have a round period. So the launch event will be in December, probably mid of December for our spring call. Proposal brokerage day in end of February, beginning of March. And deadline for proposal end of April for label notification mid-end of June, probably mid of June, to help with the Nordics. So this is repeating a little bit about the information I gave you. We have a roadmap, and this roadmap is looking at technologies, but also fields of applications of those technologies. So our core group is supporting this roadmap of technologies, and these technologies enable services, and this is what we are looking at in CELTIC end-to-end services supported by ICT technologies, and where the different sectors, the verticals, can help us to get requirements that need to be put into the new technologies in the ICT domain so that they are supported and they are enabled in their own roadmap. We are looking into current focus in those topics. I won't go through them. This is based on discussions with the different public authorities and their priorities. We organize spring call and autumn calls for proposals brokerages that look that way. So conference part, a pitching session, and a brokerage networking forum where people can meet together. The new dates will be soon presented. I know it was fast, lots of content. You will have time, and I'm at your disposal for any question later on. Thank you for your attention, and I stop sharing them.
Thank you, Xavier. So yes, we're going to have
7 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay. We're going to have the 5 presentation and then the Q&A at the end of the 5 presentations. So the next presentation will be from EUROGIA, the general manager of EUROGIA, Sinem Altuncu. Sinem, the floor is yours. You are muted. Okay.
Thank you very much, Nicolo. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. This is Sinem, Eureka Cluster General Manager. I would like to make a draft presentation because we have only 7 minutes, so we have to be fast, like Xavier. Now, I try to, yes. EUROGIA is one of the Eureka cluster dedicated to low carbon energy technologies. We are all working on energy era. We have been labeled till the end of 2025. Of course, we are promoting the partnerships between industry and universities and research centers. If you look to our history, we have been established in 2004. So we started with fossils, then it goes to renewables. Now today we are talking about hydrogen production, hydrogen storage, and green techs. So we have nearly 20 years cluster history. What is EUROGIA? EUROGIA is one of the Eureka cluster addressing low carbon technologies, R&D solutions, aiming to contribute for a sustainable environment, for the reduction of climate change, and for sustainable growth. As we all know, energy is one of the hot topics today, not only in Europe, but all over the world. So we are trying to have the R&D projects working on renewables, working on green hydrogen production, working on climate change solutions, and for sustainable growth, of course. When we look to our outcomes, till 2019, I mean the last 4 or 5 years, we have nearly 60 projects submitted and labeled, and nearly 100 million euro budget has been labeled. This means the last 5 years we have a growth ratio which is 230. Sorry, but sometimes I am having troubles. Yes, okay. Our cluster vision is to target challenges to achieve the sustainability goals, which are necessary, but of course they are not limited, like carbon-free energy supply, green mobility, smart cities, smarter housings, smarter constructions, bioresources, and bioenvironment. Yes, these are very necessary goals, but these are not limited, of course. We are working in each carbon-free energy supply goals also. We are trying to achieve carbon neutrality goals through the low carbon technologies, of course. We are trying to contribute for a sustainable environment, for the reduction of climate change, and for a sustainable growth. When we were working on ECP, we worked on our strategy, our cluster strategy. We called our strategy as 5 Ds. Decarbonization, decentralization, digitalization, deregulation, and democratization. When we talk about decarbonization, of course, we have to work on renewable energy resources. We have to work on green and zero emission buildings. We have to work on green hydrogen production and storage. When we talk about decentralization, we have to implement blockchain technologies in our R&D projects. When we talk about digitalization, we know that we have to implement AI technologies or machine learning technologies or IoT in our R&D technologies. R&D projects, sorry. When we talk about deregulation and democratization, we have to work on peer-to-peer energy trade, demand side management, network stability, virtual power plants, flexibility management, and anything else. So these are 5D strategy. We are working on this, and when an R&D project submitted to EUROGIA, we are trying to invest if it is aligned with our strategy or not, which is very important for us. Yes, I talked about the technologies, of course. Nowadays, we have to implement the new technologies in our R&D projects. We know it very well. So we are trying to enlarge this ecosystem. We are working with the ICT companies also. When we are working on energy era, it is very important. The list is not exhaustive, it's not limited. We can put anything else in our enabling technologies, of course. We are having 3 or 4 cut-off dates yearly. If we have a joint call with the other clusters, of course, it goes to 4. But recently, we are having 3 calls per year because we have 2-step process, which are PO means proposal and FPP means full project proposal. First, the consortium is submitting their proposal to the cluster. The technical committee is evaluating the proposal, and after having the pre-consensus meetings with the public authorities, if it is accepted, we are inviting the consortium to write the FPP. Then the EUROGIA technical committee is evaluating the FPP, and then, of course, we are discussing it with our public authorities. If it is fitting with their priorities or not. And we are discussing with the funding status with our public authorities. When we put a successful project equation, of course, it's starting with an industrial innovation, then the consortium structure is very important for us. We are trying to check if the consortium is well balanced or not. And then we are checking the commercial prospects. Then, of course, we are discussing with our public authorities and their priorities, their funding status, and their availabilities for the project. When the project partners go to our website, the call guidance is available on the website. Call submission support will be provided by us. Nicolo is the program manager and I'm the general manager of the cluster. So we are supporting our ecosystem. We are trying to support them with the call submissions. And of course, we are always talking with them that it's essential for each partner to contact with their supporting public authority to check their eligibility of funding. As Nicolo and Sébastien mentioned before, our call 24 deadline will be 24th of November, means next week on Friday. So each consortium trying to submit their project till the end of the next week, and then we will assign the technical committee members to each project. Then we will have a pre-consensus meeting with our public authorities to evaluate the projects. For the next year, after closing call 24, we will launch the call at the beginning of the year, and most probably the deadline will be March. And then the next call will be launched at the beginning of April, and we will have a deadline for the end of June. So the next call for the next year will go on September, and again, the deadline will be November. So we will have 3 calls for 2024 again. These are our supporting countries, not only from Europe, from the Eureka member countries. Chile, Canada, South Korea, South Africa are also supporting EUROGIA. So we are trying to put these countries and their funding status in our website for our ecosystem to check their eligibility for funding. And as the other clusters, we have a core group. We have board members coming from the energy side. Brevetas is one of the largest company. It's a French company. İktaş is one of the natural gas company in Turkey. It's a large industry company. Group Air is one of the tech companies from Portugal. Enersa is one of the largest energy company in Turkey. Rengen is an SME. Paycor is a large industry company coming from ICT sector. Software, it's a software company, and Euroscom is from Germany. So we have many project partners coming from Eureka member countries, and we have a huge ecosystem. When we look to our growth ratio, we are willing to have a we are willing to enlarge this ecosystem with our newcomers, of course. I think it's okay for me. The time is okay, Nicolo. Hopefully it's done for you. Thank you for all of you to having your time with us. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Sinem. Okay, so we can proceed to our next speaker for the cluster ITEA. We have the chairwoman of ITEA, Zeynep Sarilar. Zeynep, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nicolo, and all the public authorities attending to this meeting and cluster colleagues. My name is Zeynep Sarilar. I'm the chairwoman of ITEA, and I would like to introduce our cluster in this brief time. ITEA is an Eureka cluster, and we are focusing on the software innovation and the digital transition. It has been established 25 years ago, and thanks for your support from the countries and from the industry side, now we are celebrating this 25 years. We are focusing on the software innovation and digital transition, but as it has been already mentioned, we would like to create a kind of economical or societal impact in the industries indeed. It could be for the large industry, a new business line that I'm going to share one of those examples. For the SMEs, we are willing to expand their market, new products, new services, also to collaborate with the academia and universities. When we are talking about the software innovation, it's a very big concept. So we put some topics here like smart cities, smart communities, healthcare, safety and security as some topics. For the smart mobility and smart industry, software innovation is also very critical, and for the smart energy. And when we are talking about smart engineering here, it means much more on the developing software tools for the software development, indeed, requirement analysis and that kind of smart engineering solutions. Okay. Yeah. Also, as the other cluster colleagues, we have an ITEA board members. It is an industrial-led organization. So it means all the decisions for the cluster for ITEA are being taken by these board members. And they are all doing this support by in-kind contribution, by giving some experts from the technology side for the technology, for the evaluations, which has a research and innovation concept, at least 10 years experience, and also notion of the market and the requirement analysis. And we are not limited to that one. Also, I'm going to share some more numbers, but these are here. You can see some other industrial partners that are also providing, being a ITEA member. We call the ITEA family and community over there. Yeah, it is indeed the community is established by large industry and the SMEs. We have a high ratio of SMEs also, and research institutes and and users also. Here you see the flags that are supporting ITEA strongly at this moment, but also as the other clusters, we are very open. Even we are open to the all Eureka countries, but in expanding that, we had also some projects with Taiwan. When the consortium agrees, it is also possible to have some other countries inside the ITEA projects. But of course, we need to have two countries, member countries for sure. Here are the numbers that I'm going to share. Here, ITEA has been established, as I said, 25 years ago, but it has been, the first ITEA was also for 1 year, for 8 years. The second one is also, and now we are moving to a new concept of ECP. ITEA 4 is a kind of an extended label. But if you look at the numbers, within those 2 years, we have already achieved 432 unique partners. And from that, also verbally, I would like to share with you that it is more than 66, yeah, it's around 66% newcomers coming into the ITEA community with the projects, with the labeled projects. So it is also an expanding and renewing community. Here also, as our friends mentioned, this is a two-stage call. The details of this process will be shared with you. But here I would like to share this figure with you because it's also showing how we are collaborating with the public authorities. As the calls are open, bottom up, any topic can come, but we always suggest that the consortium members check with the public authorities the topics, and all the project evaluations are done by the industry view and the public authorities together. So it's something unique also in that sense. So if you look to the unique or the core properties of ITEA, it is really pioneering some software concepts of tomorrow. I'm going to show one of them, but also as it is bottom up, the things are coming up as a trial at the beginning, but then flourishing as a good concept. Before we have the AI call within the clusters, I can say more than 50% of the projects 5 years before, it was the AI related. The digital twin, the simulation is also coming up from there. So now we are also testing the floor for the digital trust, how to use data from all around different ways in a trusted way. So in the ITEA, we also mobilize the right ecosystems. So new ecosystems for the value chain are coming together. How we do it, we get in touch with the end users, and we have the global dimension thanks to Eureka cluster environment. And from all those things, it is also a good framework, we establish a good framework for standardization, because having those all input creates an good base to create a global standard from ITEA projects. Okay, so how do we do it? We do the international customer workshop every year to get the feedback for different topic every year. And in June and November, we also have the IT advisory boards, which are focused on the smart city at this moment. This advisory board is established by the municipalities, and also we have the advisory board for the cybersecurity companies, different industries coming together, like hospitals, banks, everybody, to see the common needs and then put it into an ITEA project to flourish something useful immediately for the global needs. And every September we had this ITEA PO days. It's a vibrant and full of ideas. Just recently we finished our call that has been initiated this September. We have 37 POs submitted with more than 4,000 person years. And also, these are not limited to that. We are not limited to that for giving the connection. Okay, and then it's throughout, we do the webinars and thematic webinars with the community. And okay, what kind of services we do? We do the brokerage, events and matchmaking. We do project coaching and monitoring with the board members during the projects and evaluation of the progress reports. And also we do project promotion. Whenever there is a need, please share it with us so we can prepare something specific for you. But we do the magazine, and also this year we published 25 years of ITEA to share the successes. The impact stream is also in our website, so you can check our website to see what kind of impacts has been created. And also we have the ISO 9001 certificate for our processes. So we keep the quality based on the what we hear from the stakeholders like yourselves, public authorities and ITEA community. Thank you very much. I try to make it as short as possible, but I pass the word back to Nicolo. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeynep, for the presentation. Okay, so next cluster representative is Aritz Arteche. He's the program coordinator for Smart Advanced Manufacturing. So Aritz, you have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon. Are you seeing my screening presentation mode?
Yes. Yes.
Great. So good afternoon, everyone, and cluster colleagues, public authorities, and so on. My name is Aritz Arteche, and I'm the program coordinator for SMART. So most probably, if you have any issues regarding with the administrative issues of SMART, you will have to talk to me first. And well, as we are explaining here, the 5 different clusters, ours is SMART, and this is our mission. A SMART mission is to boost the competitiveness, growth, and attractiveness of the discrete manufacturing industries through the promotion of R&D&I in an open community of large industries, SMEs, RTOs, academia, and user organizations. This is shown in our technical roadmap, which is divided in technical domains from one side and key application areas or sectors in the other side. We have 6 technical domains. I'm not going to go into detail, especially because of 2 reasons. I'm not the technical person here in SMART, so I'm not very good at explaining these domains, but we don't have enough time either. So I will only mention them. Those are advanced manufacturing processes, smart and adaptive manufacturing systems, digital, virtual, and efficient companies, person-machine collaboration, sustainable manufacturing, and customer-based manufacturing. And we have explained how those technical domains impact in some of the key industries that we foresee. They are aerospace, automotive, railway, consumer goods, capital goods, and industrial components. That doesn't mean that the other industries cannot be part of a smart project. For instance, in the past, we had projects regarding the sportswear manufacturing industry or the food manufacturing industry and some other industries as well. So basically, anything that has to do with innovation in manufacturing could have a fit in a smart project. This slide, as my colleagues have also shown, these are the 8 board members that we have right now in SMART. We have the chair, Fagora Automation, which is a big industry here in Spain. Secretary is Royo from Spain, Irish Manufacturing Research from Ireland, and we have other board members like Agoria from Belgium, Arnova from Spain, Ceres also in Belgium, Swoom in the Czech Republic, and Rice in Sweden. And we also have one other member that will hopefully become a board member in the future. It's Siscon, a company from Turkey. So you can see that we have a variety of countries in our organization, but we are open to having new members in our board. So if you know in your countries companies that would be interested in coming in, please let us know. These are the supporting countries that we have for this 7th call. If you can see your flag there, that's good. But if you don't see your flag there and we receive a proposal where there are partners from your country, we always tell them that they should contact those national funding agencies, because maybe the topic of the project could be interesting for that country, and they could see a possibility of funding that project. These are some data about SMART. SMART first call was launched in 2018, and since then we have launched 6 calls, 6 calls that are already finished, closed, with a total number of 77 labeled projects with an amount of 149 million euros. You can see the evolution there. It's not a steady one, but we are quite happy with the result of the sixth call. And you can see how that 6th call is divided per countries in the right-hand side of the slide. Apart from that, right now we have currently 25 projects running, and we are doing the monitoring of all those projects. Some of them, some of those 77 projects that were labeled are already finished, most of them from the first call, and quite a few of them from the second call. And we still don't have any project running from the 6th call. And also we are waiting to have some of the 5th call started. This is our call process timeline. We launch 1 call per year, and we have 2 phases. For this 7th call that we have running right now, the PO deadline will be on the 22nd of January, and the FPP deadline on the 24th of January. Here I want to mention that it is not necessary to participate in the PO phase to submit an FPP, but if that were the case, we always tell the participants that they have to check with their national funding agencies if that is okay with them as well. If they get the permission from the involved national funding agencies to submit an FPP directly, we are okay with that. And this process will be finished on the 21st of June when we issue the labels. And next Thursday, November 23rd, we will be holding the PO Proposers Day here in San Sebastian in Spain. And we have some of the national funding agencies representatives that will be coming here. We know that for most of you, it's going to be difficult because it's coincident with the Ankara meetings, but we are quite happy with the registrations that we had so far, and we think we will have a very interesting event. And these are contact details. As I said, I'm the program coordinator, but we also have Patricia Tamés, who is the office director, and John Núñez, the program officer. If you have any questions, you can address them to us, and we will try to answer your questions as best as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aritz. All right, so we are coming at the end with another presentation from Xecs cluster from the director of Xecs, Nadja Rohrbach. Please, Nadja.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nicolo. I hope you can see my screen in full presentation mode. And welcome everybody. I'm Nadja Rohrbach, the director of the cluster Xecs, while ECS stands for Electronic Components and Systems. What the Eureka cluster is was already presented to you. What I would like to present you with this slide is so that we are the cluster in the field of electronic components and systems. And our cluster is managed and operated by an industry association, which is called ENEAS. ENEAS represents the community on ECS towards the Commission, towards national authorities and regional authorities. We benefit from the complementary activities within the KDT joint undertaking, which has came to an end. It is now the CHIPS JU, but also former Excel activities. And ENEAS is very experienced also in implementing clusters because they did this already for Katrine, Euripides, and the Penta cluster. Xecs is the successor of Euripides and Penta. And our cluster is also supported by two more industry associations. One is EPOS, which is about the smart systems integration. And this used to be the community and the association supporting Euripides. But we are also supported by Inside, which is about software, because we cannot think about hardware developments without software developments. And we also need the smart systems integration. And so we cannot really be something isolated from other developments. This is also why we work closely together with the Xecs GIA and also with Quantum and with photonics communities. And this is again a benefit we have also in the cluster Xecs, because ENEAS is doing this for the whole community, presenting them and offering them the best opportunities to work together. So ENEAS is a non-for-profit industry association, which is based in Paris. And its members are from large industry, SMEs, RTOs, and academia. And the purpose is to catalyze RD&I collaborative activities in the electronic components and systems value chain, supporting the development of the digital economy. So this is, we have 20 board members, which you can see here in the bubble. And you could see here large companies like Airbus, Infineon, NXP, but we have also several smaller companies like Exilium, for instance. And so those are the board members. We at Xecs use the same governance structure as in ENEAS. So we have joint meetings. It's not that we separate something for Xecs from the rest of ENEAS. It's all done jointly also to ensure that we are really working closely together. ENEAS has currently more than 540 members from along the whole value chain. but the community is much larger. And all projects are open to the whole community, so it's not restricted to the INEAS members. And for the members, we have 50% of SMEs, and this is also represented in our projects, where we also have a huge participation from the SMEs, 24% RTOs, 23% corporates, and we have also some associated members. And membership is not restricted to Europe, so we also have members from all over the world in INEAS. I would like to focus a little bit on our strategic and research and innovation agenda, because this is finally what distinguishes the different clusters from each other. We operate more or less on the same basis in close collaboration with the public authorities, and but the topics are different, the focus topics are different. For us, it is that the whole ECS community drafts our strategic research and innovation agenda. And this is the basis for the CHIPS JU, but also for the cluster XECS. This is now also available online. You can see here on the bottom right the internet address where you can easily access the SRIA, and you can just put in a word like be it quantum, be it security or whatsoever, and you will receive all the matches in the different chapters of our SRIA. This part is renewed every 2 years. It is updated every 2 years, but also to address emerging topics like, for instance, sustainability, where we have a white paper on the ECS sustainability and environmental footprint. So we have sometimes then additional documents to address specifically those topics. So this is a bit our SRIA. So to tell you, so you see first the basic technology stack of a typical digitalization solutions and the hierarchical dependencies. You see here, this is on embedded software and beyond. It is on components, modules. It is process technology, equipment, materials, and manufacturing. And then we have the transversal areas benefiting from the interdisciplinary contribution of the foundational layers, or it supports the technology stack across all layers. And as you can see here, it's about connectivity, edge computing and embedded AI, quality, reliability, safety, and cybersecurity. So you see, this is not only topics which you would immediately connect to hardware, let's say. And then we have our application areas. This is also enabled by and driving the ECS technology roadmap. And as you can see here, there are many, many different application areas, from mobility to energy, health and well-being, agriculture, etc. And we also think in terms of course, what is the long-term development. And so this is where we have a specific chapter also what needs to be addressed now at the low TRL, starting with it, then to feed it into the innovation pipeline, because this is what we, as the clusters are about, is really to bring things which have been developed at the basic research level, TRL3, let's say, up to bring it really to the market. And this is the value of the Clusters project, working with all the participants from all over the value chain, involving up to the end users at the end. So how we work is that we have also a two-step call process, as many others as well, and all what was presented by the others. We also implement this from events, different kind of events, and close cooperation with the public authorities. So I will not repeat this, and because you will also get another insight on this later. So for our current running call, which has been launched on the 25th of September, in Paris, we have the submission deadline for the project outlines on the 18th of January, and the successful proposals will be invited to submit a full project proposal on 18th of April. We will label the projects end of May, and we hope that for some of the consortia, funding will be available as of September so that they can start. We have preponed this time our deadline by 1 month, taking the opportunity and the chance to give the label before the summer break. You might imagine that this is always an issue with the southern and the northern countries starting with their holidays at different times, and we hope that the consortia will have time to start with the national applications before the summer break. We follow with our eligibility criteria, of course, Eureka, because we are a Eureka program. And I would like to highlight only one new eligibility criterion, which we have now defined for the third call. Unfortunately, we have seen in the past calls that we are receiving more and more very, very small projects, consortia of 2 people with a budget less than 1 million euro. Which does not mean that the quality is not good, but it simply doesn't fit into the idea of a clusters project. And looking to all the efforts we do with all the mentoring and the coaching, etc., and what the clusters are about and what is the main differentiator, we are looking for mid-sized projects, partners involving from the whole value chain. We have introduced now a criterion that a project must involve at least 35 person years. We based it on person years and not on budget because, as you might imagine, in the Czech Republic, the budget for salaries is much more different than from Norway, for instance. And the 35 person years is easy to reach if you really look for a mid-sized project. So it should not be an obstacle. And we have discussed this in detail also with industry and the public authorities. So it was a joint decision. We are building on the legacy of Penta and Euripides, as I said, but since more than 30 years, there are clusters in Eureka, starting from Jesse via Katrine, covering the electronic components and systems. And just for Penta and Euripides, you can see we have a success rate of 32%. We have a public-private joint investment of almost 400 million euros. We have had 24 countries involved with a very high SME participation of 40%. We have currently 23 countries supporting us. So from Belgium, we are supported by all the 3 regions. And of course, we are looking forward receiving support from more countries. And as for all the other clusters, in a consortium, it is not restricted the participation to those countries. We are very active on the social media, so please subscribe to our newsletter if you are interested. Follow us on the social media. And we have a very small team in Paris, 2 colleagues also working with us, Patrick Cogy, who is the technical director, and Scheherazade, the program director. And if you have any question, I will also be in Ankara next week, like most of my colleagues. So please don't hesitate to contact us if you like. Thank you very much. And back to Nico.
Thank you. Thank you, Nadja. Okay, so before going to the next series of presentations, I will ask if there are any questions. I see no questions in the chat box and I see no raised hands. So we can go to the next part.
There is a question, Nicolo.
Ah, yes. Who raised the hand? No, I don't see it now. I don't know why.
So it says all of you monitor projects, but do you also organize follow-up services during and after the project period? Okay. Yes, we do, and this will be presented shortly by Sébastien Aubron.
Okay, thank you, Nadja. Any other questions? No. Okay. So we can go to the next part of the before the break. Now you will see 5 very short presentations or video for each of the clusters about an example of an impactful project. So starting again from CELTIC-NEXT, Xavier, please, you can share your presentation or video.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I will present you one success story which is currently running. This is not a bottom-up call project. Oh, what is happening? Okay. It is the current flagship running with CELTIC. So it is called AINet, and the overall topic was network management using AI technologies. So we have made the midterm assessment recently this year, and this project will end in December 2024. And it is structured with vertical projects. So you have the ITEA sub-project, the Protect sub-project, Anyara sub-project, each time led by a large industry player and having several participants in each of the sub-projects. But they are also, I will come to that, in horizontal activities. So you can see this project is supported by Germany, France, Sweden, Finland, UK. Netherlands is not supporting in the terms of funding, but there's a Netherlands participant, TNO, very well-known research organization in the Netherlands, and Poland. As of today, as midterm review results, we have achieved 48, or the project has achieved, better to say, 48 patents and open source and standard contributions, 60 proof of concepts, 36 hirings, and then 66 hirings here means in addition to the already existing people in the company's research lab organization and academia, they have engaged new people in fixed and in defined term positions. There have been already 194 publications. It's even more than that now because the midterm was in the first half of the year, and 46 keynotes and public communications. This is the other type of projects that CELTIC is running. And for this occasion, I took this one. A second, so sorry, I don't know why my slide is not changing. Oh, yeah. So there's an umbrella project, AINet, and as said, 3 main sub-projects. One is in optical networks for latency critical and high availability services. The other one is secure enterprise connectivity, and the third one is 5G, 6G, Edge, and Industry 4.0. The horizontal working groups are based on automation of services and applications, led by Nokia, carrier-grade AI machine learning for automation by Ericsson, edge platform and infrastructure by RISE, and safety and security solutions by Alpha. So those projects are coordinated and managed by telecom system manufacturers. There is a rapid development of prototypes and early market access for the sub-projects, and the horizontal working groups are B and multilateral cooperation across the sub-projects, standardization and open platforms, and joint feed tests and demos. What you need to retain from this is that the size of a project matters a lot for the impact. And this is the upper end of what CELTIC is doing in terms of projects. We usually, for the bottom-up calls, we are between 2 million and 10 million. So if I check the call from autumn call 2023, we have 10 proposals, and it ranges from 900K to 9 million projects. So with a mean value around 3 million, but normally we are more in a value of 5 million. And this is a nearly 70 million project. With that, we achieve high impact because all these big companies working together and with a lot of SMEs, each of those projects has something like between 20 and 30 participants. They are going to standardization bodies and so on together, and they push a lot. And there is a lot of implications and impact from this project on the standards, which you will find in your mobile network, in your fixed network, and so on. So this is a very impactful project and a success story for CELTIC. And we are in the preparation of the next, let's say, flagship project, which should be around beginning of 2024, ready for approval. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Xavier. Okay, now we can go with Sinem and EUROGIA impactful, successful projects. Thank you, Sinem.
Thank you very much, Nicola. I would like to show you one of the EUROGIA successful project, which is Smart Wind, advanced tools to optimize operation and maintenance activities in wind farms. This project faces the main challenge of the wind industry, through the optimization of operation and maintenance processes. The main KPIs to measure the project success is the reduction of the operation and maintenance costs. So they are willing to reduce this cost by 10%, an increase of availability and production indicators by 5%. When we look to the consortium, it's a very well-balanced consortium. There are 5 actors coming from industry and 1 from academia. Germany, Ruhr University, Bochum University. From Spain, Tecnalia and Isotrol. From Turkey, Netaş, Zorlu Enerji and Enforma. Enforma is the coordinator of the project and it's SME. But Netaş and Zorlu Enerji are large industry companies. So we are very happy to have a coordinator of this project is an SME. And Tecnalia and Isotrol are from Spain. Isotrol is very huge experience on wind turbines. They are working on wind turbines, so it's really very important to put its experience to this project. Tecnalia, all we know, Tecnalia, it's a research center, and they put a Germany university to have the academia research in the project. Now, when we look to the project, I can say that these projects is trying to develop a platform for cost reduction and revenue optimization for wind farms operators. So it is very important for us to have this project on EUROGIA because we are willing to have projects on the wind turbines and wind farms. So there are some operational side which called SCADA, and they try to work on these operational sides to have some improvements. But the most important thing is they put AI technologies in the project. They used machine learning also to have the algorithm, to have this cost reduction in the project. So they had a software side, which they implemented the new technologies, AI and machine learning, and they use algorithms to have these aims and goals in the project. As I mentioned before, the main key performance indicators are to measure the project success, the reduction of operation and maintenance cost, and of course, the increase of production and availability. When we look to the budget of this project, it's nearly 2 million euro. Enforma was the coordinator of the project and the rest are the project partners. The project has just been finalized. We had the final report of the project and we had a meeting with the consortium. I think that the consortium are covering the whole value chain because 2 specialists are on ICT systems. The rest are coming from operation and maintenance company and 2 research centers with key competences in maintenance and wind power generation optimizations. So through the technology development and competitiveness, as well as by promoting and increasing the renewable share in the energy mix, this project has achieved the Europe ambitions for the global leader in renewables as part of the global clean energy transition. It was really very important to have this project on EUROGIA as we are willing to work on the wind farms, wind turbines because of renewable energy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sinem. Okay, so next successful story from ITEA. Again, Zeynep, you have a video. I know you have a video, so you can share it. Now we have a question for later after the five presentations. You are muted, Zeynep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. The button that I was trying to stop was also, okay, just a moment. Just want to have this one. Okay, can you see my screen?
No, we can see you very well,
No?
but not the not the video. Okay, yes. Okay, now we can see
Is
the
it
screen.
all now? Okay. Sorry for this. Yeah, I would like to share you one example from the ITEA projects as a impact story. It's starting from the ITEA one, a long story, but in ITEA we have some sorry. In ITEA we have some quick impact, fast exploitations, and sometimes we have evolutionary solutions. And this one is related with the digital cinema, where it has started as a concept and then it evolved in 3 projects as the digital cinema. And now I would like to give the floor for the project leader, Barco, to explain the outcomes. Okay.
Basically, this ITEA project was the very first basis of going from a analog 35mm film in cinema to the digital technology shift that happened. This is also a project that has a longer term valorization, because the first results of the project and subsequent projects, of course, only came to the market about 10 years after the project ended. This project set the wave of the new technology for cinema, so going to digital, which made also the new generation of film distribution possible. Thanks to this, we enabled 3D movies in the cinemas. And basically, movies can now be distributed at any location everywhere in the world at the same time, which is also a big benefit for the cinema theaters. Next to that, it's also now possible to not only view movies at the cinema, but also go for live events, for recordings, for instance, see operas that are taking place in New York, being viewed in Kortrijk, for instance. So it really revolutionized the market. So if I look at some of the benefits, digital cinema, there the societal impact was that it helps us all enjoy movies in a much better image quality wherever and whenever a movie is watched, and it facilitates distribution of movies and paved the way forward for new technologies and viewing experiences. Now, something that's also important, of course, is the business impact. Digital cinema, as I said, it's a little bit an older project, so we do have clear numbers there. For Barco, this was a very important one. It kicked off really the 10 years of digital cinema pioneering for Barco, and it has resulted in a worldwide undisputed global market leadership for Barco. If we look at 2022, we have achieved a #1 worldwide position in digital cinema market, where we have about 55% capture worldwide. So that means for every 100 projectors that are sold in the world, 55 of them are coming from Barco. So we have different market share. So it's more than 60% in China and in Latin.
Oh. Okay. Okay, maybe I can.
So it's more than 60% in China and in Latin America. We have a leading position in Europe with more than 50%, and a very strong position in the US, and also the rest of the world with market shares above 40%. You can say that now these days, the revenue from digital cinema for Barco is about 40% of its revenues. So Barco is a €1 billion company. So about 400 million is coming from digital cinema sales.
Okay, now we finished at the right time. The other thing I would like to share with you briefly, as we are celebrating the 25 years of ITEA, we have created in each magazine, we have 3 magazines every year. Each magazine, we created a set of life-changing projects, stories. So you can check the from ITEA 1, ITEA 2, and ITEA 3 life-changing projects summaries over there. And also the last publishment that we have. It's the Fast Track to Software Innovation, ITEA. It's talking about what kind of achievements have been done and also giving the right examples for that. Also at the very end, you can see the return of investment to the countries for their investment, and yeah, the impact that has been created overall for those 25 years. Thank you very much, and I give the floor to Nicolo back again. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeynep. Okay, so our next story comes from Smart. Aritz, please, you can share.
Yeah, I'm going to show you now a video of the project ToolSense, which is a 1.6 million euro project with participants from Sweden, Canada, UK, and the Netherlands, although the participant from the Netherlands was participating self-funded. It was originally for 36 months, planned for 36 months, but it finally took 40 months to develop this project. So here we go, sharing the video here.
Hi, my name is Vladimir Bushka from Lund University in Sweden, and I'm the academic coordinator of the ToolSense project, which is running under the mandate of Eureka, SMART, Advanced Manufacturing Program, and national funding agencies. Current manual inspection of the cutting tools and process outcomes is often untimely, and process failure and component damage does occur. The industry academy are expanding the use of sensor technologies, installing them on machines, in fixtures, or attached to cutting tools externally or invasively. But the phenomena of interest occur in tiny contact zone, and measurement as close as possible to the process is ideal. Hence, non-invasive and integrated sensors are needed. Therefore, ToolSense project aims to develop, upscale, and commercialize smart cutting tools capable of online measurement and monitoring of forces, vibrations, and temperatures in the machining process. These tools are implemented within the existing value chain of advanced manufacturing of components in order to manage and optimize the process itself, product quality, wear and failure of cutting tools.
Hi, my name is Rashim Sobi from SecoTools AB in Sweden, and I'm the industrial coordinator of the ToolSense project. From a technical standpoint, 3 different types of sensors in the tools provide a rich and real-time data stream of force, temperature, and vibrations at the machining locus. The tool has an integrated computer for sensor fusion, signal acquisition, data pre-processing, wireless connectivity for data transfer, and battery capacity for autonomous operation. Wireless connectivity increases process control and the ease of utilization and maintenance. In terms of machining applications, both turning and milling processes are within the scope of the ToolSense project, where a significant effort has been invested into the development of customized tooling designs capable to embed sensors, fusion module electronics for wireless communication, and the battery. The implementation of our integrated solution into a machining tool platform opens possibilities for process measurement and monitoring of machining operations. Such will enable us to achieve a successful machining of an industrial component by relying on process optimization, prevention of process failure, and subsequently prevention of component damage, ultimately paving the way to autonomous and closed-loop machining. Bringing together an international and multidisciplinary team comprising of academic and industrial partners with complementary expertise, it has been possible to develop a fruitful and intensive collaborative research framework to tackle the numerous challenges posed by the project. This, despite the geographical spread of the participant and the impact of the COVID pandemic that forced us to quickly adopt the use of digital platforms for communication, planning, and execution of the project activities.
Hello, I'm Philip Lenrick, Associate Professor at Lund University and leader of temperature sensor activities. These sensors were designed to integrate seamlessly, maintaining the tool's original functionality. This was made with nano-engineering and the use of advanced thin film technology. We employed techniques like UV lithography, shadow mask lithography, and physical vapor deposition. The resulting sensors are incredibly thin, only about 100 to 200 nanometers. Their small size offers non-intrusive integration and become one with the tools. Additionally, the sensors deliver very rapid responses.
Hi, my name is Mahmoud Hassan, and I am a research officer at the National Research Council Canada. At NRC, we achieved a breakthrough in real-time measurement of primary machining phenomena inside the cutting area. A novel tool-embedded micro-thin film force sensor technology was developed and integrated It provides an accurate and consistent cost-effective measurement of the cutting forces and can represent the tool condition over the tool life. A core development of this project lies in the novel approach of integrating the embedded sensors and wireless technologies to achieve robust process monitoring. AI-based signal processing approach was developed to detect the tool wear state in real time. It fuses the vibration and force signals acquired using the developed smart tool to extract key representative features that can detect the tool condition at different cutting conditions. The developed TRL6 approach has showed more than 95% accuracy in detecting the wear state based on the smart tool signals.
As part of the Smart Tool program, Rainhouse has developed a data acquisition system and software designed to fit within a machine tool. This image shows a lathe tool with a data acquisition system integrated into it. This tool collects data from sensors at the tool tip and sends it via Bluetooth to a receiver on a computer nearby. This development for the Smart Tool program has resulted in Rainhouse submitting 2 patents. These are currently as patent pending. This is a video of the tool collecting vibration data from a turning application on our manual lathe. Rainhouse has carried our development of the multi-sensor data acquisition system and software forward, developing on-machine monitoring that is cloud connected and can be viewed anywhere a network connection is available. Shown here is data from sensors detecting temperature, light, vibration, sound level, and more. This data has been collected at our 5-axis milling machine. For each of these data streams using our online platform, we can easily see the real-time levels and can review the past data collected on a graph.
So that was all from our side. I give you the floor, Nicola. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Aritz. Yes, then the next one will be the video from Xecs. Nadja.
Yes, thank you,
can
Nicola.
share it. I cannot hear you. It is blocked for me. Can the other hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Nicola.
Okay, so it's not me. Okay.
Not Nadja. No, it's not you.
So I hope I'm back.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
everything is freezed. So maybe you can stop share, and then share again.
Yeah. Okay. So I think now you can see my presentation.
Yes.
Yes, good,
okay.
Great. Yes, before I go to a short video, I would like to give you an introduction to one of our successful projects, which is the Sunrise project, and it is about the shared IoT security. In this project, we have had 18 project partners, large enterprises, SMEs, and RTOs. It was led by NXP and involved partners from the Netherlands, from Germany, and France. And as you can see here, we have had also partners from all along the value chain. So for the chips, there was, for instance, the company Centgrain. We have had for the data security encryption algorithms, the Technical University in Delft. And we have also had end users like Philips, ENGIE, or Cloudheat. So what was developed in this project is, it's all about cybersecurity and the system security, while also respecting the GDPR compliance. There is a huge damage in economy due to cyber attacks, and this is what they want to solve issues here, and specifically looking to all the online applications you have nowadays, to the cloud usage, where also you share sensitive data. We're looking to the health care domain, for instance. This was really something very important, and they succeeded in this project. So they created impact for the customer, make the Internet of Things more secure, protecting our society from cyber attacks. They have published more than 20 scientific papers and project-related articles. They have had 4 PhD positions and also 4 patent applications within the project. And one other result is also that a startup was created. So what they did is they had 3 use cases for this technology. If you look to the healthcare, for instance, where also the GDPR compliance, but also the security is very, very important, they succeeded so that also the devices amongst the security, but they also can detect anomalies in the user behavior, which might give then a hint on that someone is getting tired and not doing things correctly, but also it can detect unexpected changes to the device itself. It gives a unique identification of a medical device. If you look to hospitals where you have many, many different medical devices, this is also important, and also they have implemented a high level of patient data security. If you look to the energy communities, and if you think about smart homes where you have a smart meter, for instance, you have several connected devices which you can control remotely. You also would like it to be secure and to work reliable. And again, the devices can also detect abnormal electricity consumption, so which can give you a warning that something's going wrong. Maybe you have left a window open or something is broken or whatever. And so it's increased also the security and detects also intrusions by recognizing anomalies in behavior of a gateway. If you look to the cloud infrastructure, there again, the cloud computing, so GDPR compliance is absolutely necessary. And we can see also the trend to edge computing. Edge computing has a positive effect on energy consumption and latency. Can be used, for instance, for autonomous driving, smart traffic lights, or smart thermometers. And they have tested this in a data center in which the security of the overall edge cloud infrastructure has been increased. The energy efficiency has been improved, and there's also a potential for predictive maintenance approaches. This project, very successful project, has received the Penta Award last year. So we hand over an award every year. And as a complement, I would like to show you a video from a project participant who will explain you from a point of view of a company why it is beneficial to participate in a project like a cluster or Xecs project. So I hope it will work, that I can share. Can you still hear me? It seems to be everything frozen.
We can hear you,
all
but,
right.
We can hear you, but yeah, it is uploading. We give it a minute, and then in case it's not working, I can try. I have the video, so I can try.
Yeah, you have the video, so maybe because mine is a bit.
Yeah, okay, I will try. So
yeah, if you can share that, much appreciated. Thank you, Nicolo.
Sure. Wait a sec. Window. Can you see?
Yeah.
This one, huh?
Yes, this one. Thank you. Can you maybe put it in full screen? And there is no sound.
No sound?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, try again. Sorry. Share. Can you see it?
Yes.
Let's try again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
What are the benefits of your participation in RD&I projects and proposals in KDDGU and Penta?
Well, we have been in quite a few proposals, but they have all helped us expand our horizons. What we can see here is that we have been able to enter into new markets in a way that we would not have been able to without these projects. because there's a barrier to entry to a market, which could, for instance, be drones, which is one of our areas, where the projects that we participate in give us the insight and the credibility to be able to contact new potential partners and customers that we did not have before.
Why is pan-European collaboration so key for you?
For the large enterprise partners, the big difference for us is that we gain access to collaborate and get access to contacts to their R&D departments that we otherwise would not get access to. And for the universities, of course, one of the big advantages for us is also to gain access so that we can establish collaboration, for instance, with students, with PhD students or research projects. I think it is a very good investment, and especially it's an investment in the medium to long term, which for an SME is typically a difficult thing to consider in your investment plan.
What are the advantages of joining consortia?
Of course, the risk handling, the risk management is a big part of the advantages of joining such a project, both in terms of sharing it with other partners who share the initial vision and are willing to embark on at least a parallel track to develop technologies.
How does the networking events co-organized by ANS support you?
We could not have participated in any of the projects that we have participated in without the brokerage event. The brokerage events are absolutely key to building strong and winning consortia. The pitch sessions are very useful opportunities to address a large audience and force yourself to boil your idea down to 4 or 5 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Nadja, for the video. You wish to say something or?
No, everything fine.
All right. So thank you. So about the leave, we have a question for leave. Maybe it's good that we can address the question now before the break, because the question is about if the cluster have some services related to monitoring the project after the end of it, for instance. And leave interest is specifically directed to these 5 projects. So maybe if you have something to say about your projects and how you follow up the projects, it would be great before the break. Yeah, Zeynep.
Nicola, okay, thank you for the question. Indeed, yeah, the impact stories are usually after the finish of the project, and as the people are still in the community after 3 years, we get in touch with the project leader and the partners, and we start collecting the numbers which has been created or impacted as an economical impact as a project result. And based on that interviews, we create these impact stories indeed. So it doesn't happen usually at the end of the project. We create a success story and a leaflet, but the impact story is coming after 3 years or something like that. It depends on the project outcomes. So it's like this after the end of the project.
Thank you.
Also, I would like to add, during the project, we are following up the projects very closely. We are having the reports, starting with the project, we are having the kickoff minutes, then we are having the midterm reports, and when the project finalized, we are having the finalized report, so final report. And then we are having a meeting with the consortium to present their project at the end of the time. And then, of course, after finalizing the project, we are asking them if there's a future work for the project, which is important for us. So the continuity and sustainability are coming with the project and with the ecosystem, which is very important for us. Thank you.
And I would like to add for the EUROGIA project that the project we presented as a follow-up, has another project, because in Call 24 we will receive FPP with another project which is called WIN-DT-WIN, which is quite the follow-up of this project. We have as coordinator Netash, which was one of the partners of that project. So we can see that projects can start new projects in the future, and that's maybe something.
That's the future work. You are totally right, Nicola. That's the future work. Thank you.
Aritz?
Xavier was first.
Xavier, sorry.
Okay, so speaking about this flagship AINet, the basic team of AINet has been already involved in the past in SASAIR, Sendate, and now AINet, and they are preparing the next, let's say, evolution of this stream of flagships. So we are monitoring in two ways. We are monitoring, like it was said by colleagues, after the project's end, we are keeping in touch with the people. It's, let's say, further more than 3 years is difficult because people change organizations, there are mergers and acquisitions and so on. You cannot really monitor more than 3 years long. But at 3 years, we have a good idea if the near to market criteria has been achieved, because clusters projects are supposed after the end of a project. So let's say the project is lasting 3 years. 3 years after the end of the project, we should see commercialization of bricks or entire solutions coming from this project. So we are looking at that, and another success rate KPI is the returning factor, which is, as it was mentioned before, people who have done a project, once they finish this project, they are eager to do a new project and continue benefiting from the clusters' positive impact on their turnover, investment, getting customers and so on, and in touch with larger industry for SMEs, which is a very big topic in clusters projects. SMEs are involved with large companies that can help them develop their business and so on, through the integration of their solutions into bigger solutions and so on. So yes, that is followed up, and there are those factors we are monitoring.
Thank you. Aritz?
Yeah, I also wanted to mention that apart from all the things that my colleagues said from the other clusters that we do during the process of monitoring, we will also explain what we do before the monitoring of the project. But in the case of the project that we showed from SMART, the ToolSense project, we also managed 2 PCRs, 2 project change requests. The first one was a really complicated one because this project originally had Spanish partners, and because of the change of funding of the funding scheme in Spain, the Spanish partner withdrew. So we helped the rest of the consortium to rebuild the project. They were able to engage a UK partner, self-funded, and they could keep everything balanced there and more or less the scope of the project in the same way. But and by the end of the project as well, we managed another PCR, because as I mentioned, it was originally planned for 36 months, and it was also mentioned in the video that they had some difficulties because of the pandemic, and they asked us to extend the duration of the project to 40 months. And well, this is something that is done by the cluster offices, but it always involves also the national funding agencies to see if they approve those changes. That's what I wanted to add.
Thank you. And Nadja?
Yes, thank you. So we have a mentor first for each of the projects. The mentor is a person really giving advice to the project leader, how to implement best the project, how to handle the consortium. Often you have not that much experienced project leaders, And then this help is very useful. And we have assigned reviewers, usually also those who have evaluated the project, so they know very well what's going on in the project. And in our case, for instance, what they have initially had in mind also with respect to use cases did not work the way they wanted it to be. And so with the help of the whole consortium, but also with the mentor and the evaluators, they could identify the best use cases and finally succeeded and received also the award. So all our reviews are really made to improve the project and to really bring it to a success. This is the intention of all the support we offer to them. Thank you.
Xavier?
I just want to add one thing about the PCRs. PCRs are not always negative, meaning it's not always because there's a big problem to be solved, a partner is disappearing, withdrawing, or whatever. We have been experiencing in the last years also very positive PCRs, but we're saying, okay, due to our dissemination at events and so on, more parties are interested to join, and we are asked to add a new use case, to add a new work package, and additional partners and countries. And this is also part of the flexibility of the clusters to have both PCRs, which you cannot do in other programs outside of Eureka.
So earlier in the workshop, we saw what defines a cluster project, and now we will have a look at what defines a typical life cycle of a project. We prepared this presentation with our cluster colleagues, and the goal will be to provide you with a common and comprehensive perspective on how clusters processes work. So if there is any question, please, again, raise it in the chat. Thank you. All right, so to understand the life cycle of a cluster project, we need to delve a little bit into the general process of cluster calls. So here is the what is called the two stages call process that applies to most Eureka clusters. It's called this way as there is a first evaluation stage, which is the project outline, and then a second evaluation stage, which is the full project proposal. And any project application goes through that process. So I will go, let's say, stage by stage. And as mentioned by Nicolo, the idea will be to explain what it consists of and also the support provided by the cluster offices at these different moments. So the first step in the cluster call is what is called the launch period. So this period usually starts by the Eureka clusters announcing the call. This can be done in different ways, but most of the time we have mailing campaigns sent by cluster offices, but there also are some websites, articles, etc. The clusters also organize launch events. So these launch events can be called differently across the different clusters. Some call it PO days, some others proposals days, but the principle is the same. It's for the clusters to present their call, the process foreseen, the timelines, and any other relevant information. So for instance, there might be a hot topic pushed in one of those calls, like hydrogen and EUROGIA recently, and this would be the moment that beneficiaries would have the information. Those launch events are most of the time physical, and clusters provide their valuable inputs and valuable information. For instance, how to build a strong and good proposal, some tips and tricks. We also have some example of successful cluster projects sometimes, or even inspiring keynote speakers. So in a nutshell, those events are great for beneficiaries to attend, to get informed, but also to meet with potential project partners, because there are also some B2Bs and networking activities. During this call launch phase, as you can see on the screen, the clusters also present their brokerage tools, and it's often in different sessions. These brokerage tools, to those of you who do not know, offer various functionalities. So it allows project applicants, for instance, to create project ideas online and to invite partners to join. Project applicants can also browse for other project ideas, and specifically they can look in some specific partners and request them to join their project idea. And this way they can start building consortium. So that's a very important and useful tool provided by the clusters. Another activity at this period is obviously the national webinars, where the countries present their national rules and funding schemes. As you can imagine, this is very important that the beneficiaries join those national webinars so they can know their national funding rules and funding conditions. And also because those rules and conditions, they vary from one country to another. So that's why we always encourage applicants to attend those webinars and also to connect with public authorities early. So yeah, I think this is what we cover in the call launch as clusters. So during, as I explained a bit already, during this call launch period, the clusters offices, they support public authorities by providing them what we call call promotion packages. So these consist in promotional materials that the countries can then use at national level to outreach their national communities. And this is something very important for the public authorities to do as well. This way we have more partners applying. Cluster offices also support the organization of national webinars. This can be done by providing templates or even giving presentations in those national webinars. And finally, the clusters support the applicants as well by giving them advices along the way. So the following phase in the cycle of the clusters process is the PO phase, which stands for project outline. So what is a project outline? So as the name suggests, the project outline is an overview of what the project is about. It includes main information on the technologies and the innovation that will be researched, but also the targeted impact should be presented. And the consortium will also be presented in this project outline. It's very important that the technical evaluators clearly understand how the consortium intends to extend the state of the art, and as explained a bit earlier in the chat, this should be made clear in the proposal. What should be made clear as well is the expected route to economic and societal exploitation. And finally, the project outline should also demonstrate to the public authorities involved how they intend to bring impact in their respective countries. So those are what the experts will look at specifically. Okay, so this slide sums up what I've just explained in terms of evaluation criteria. This is a non-exhaustive list with 5 criteria that work for all 5 Eureka clusters in the project outline, which are the rationale of the project, technology and innovation, the market and impact, the consortium, and the partner contribution. So based on these criteria, the project outline will be evaluated by the technical experts from industry. Additionally, the national funding agencies of the involved countries will also evaluate the project outline, and the national funding agencies will look specifically at the financial eligibility and technical eligibility as well of their national participants. Then the cluster offices will bring together the public authorities involved and the industry experts in joint meetings so they can discuss together and agree on which projects should be invited to the next stage or not. As regards the type of support providing during this PO phase, The clusters support public authorities by providing access to their online IT tools, so the public authorities can then perform their national evaluation. Clusters also support countries providing the technical experts evaluation a bit earlier than the deadline for countries evaluation. So the countries, if they want to, can use the technical experts evaluation to consider. Of course, cluster offices also support the participants, notably in terms of using the submission tool. And at the end, the clusters also provide a joint feedback to the consortium, which can be very helpful for those who are invited to the next stage. So speaking of next stage, we are here entering the FPP stage, which is the full project proposal. It means that the project which received a positive evaluation at the PO stage are invited to submit a full project proposal. What is a full project proposal? We can say it's an improvement of the project outline, and also the main additional criteria will be the inclusion of work packages. So I've just talked about the work packages. What is also, of course, very important for project applicants to improve is the recommendations of the technical experts and the public authorities. So those two evaluators or groups of evaluators will be very careful whether their recommendations have been considered. So once the consortia have submitted their FPP, technical experts will evaluate the proposal again, and the involved countries will also reevaluate the proposal. So it's a bit a similar process. And once again, the technical experts and the country evaluators will meet and discuss, but this time they will discuss which project they want to label, which means that Eureka label means that the project has good chances to being funded and that it is of good quality. So this is what will emerge from those joint meetings between the public authorities and the experts. The labeled participants will then submit a national application for funding. So this will be made through the national programs and based on national rules, and the project will be regarded as started as soon as sufficient participants have secured their funding. So that's why also it's very important that the involved public authorities communicate their funding decision quickly. So during this full project proposal phase, and similarly to the PO phase, the cluster offices provide support to the public authorities involved by giving them access to the technical expert evaluations and giving them access as well to the online tool. The cluster offices also support the applicants by providing them a joint feedback, as I explained, and also providing them access to the online tool. So we are entering now the running period of the project. This is the monitoring phase, and this is the lifetime of the project. So during this monitoring phase, the project partners will have to meet obviously with the standard project requirements, amongst which we have regular review meetings and progress reports. And of course, it will be also very important for the project participants to meet with their national requirements. So they should check that as well. Finally, the project will end with what is a final report and a final review meeting. So one important information during this monitoring phase is the possibility for a consortia to initiate change requests. So what is a change request and why do we see change requests? I think Xavier mentioned that a bit earlier on, but sometimes we see that in projects we have some partners dropping, and the change request mechanism allows to bring new partners on board. It also allows some projects to change a little bit their focus or their scope depending on emerging needs or markets or new technology. So that's quite flexible instrument. Of course, those change requests would need to be agreed by the technical experts involved and the public authorities involved. So here is a recap of the support provided by the cluster offices at this monitoring phase. The public authorities are invited to project review meetings. That's a type of support which is given to public authorities. And they're also given the access to the written reports or the deliverables. The consortia also receive support from the cluster offices. Clusters, for instance, identify coaches and mentors, which is the word I was looking for in my previous presentation. And I think, as Nadja mentioned, those coaches and mentors support consortium throughout their project lifetime to really help them maximizing the impact and the chances of a successful project. These are really an added value of clusters there. Finally, the project will end with final review report and meeting. And after that, there will be different type of follow-ups. And this was, I think, the question of Lieve. So in the following years after the project end, the project partners will be able to demonstrate the impact they have generated in the project. This can be done through different ways. As mentioned by Zeynep, I think we've got some impact success stories, for instance. They're not immediately at the end of the project, but sometimes 3 years after, so we can really see the impact that has been created. For the most successful cluster projects, they may also receive awards or press article releases. And I think these are very useful type of support for organizations which are willing to keep growing after the end of clusters project. Okay, so I think this is it for me. I thank you for your attention. I think it was a lot of information, but that was the purpose. So if there is any question, please feel free to raise them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sébastien. So are there any questions related to the project cycle or in general to the ECP in general? I see no questions. There is an important message from Xavier in the chat box that clarify the process in CELTIC-NEXT, which is slightly different for now. We will see. Otherwise, we can go to the last part of this workshop. So I will ask then Xavier and Johan. I believe that Johan also is in the meeting for giving you an introduction on the online portal and a live demonstration.
Yeah, so
thank you.
Okay, can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we will talk about the ECP PA portal, as we call it. It's a short update presentation to you, public authorities, on the 16th of November about the PA portal, and an introduction for those of you who are new to the Eureka family and to the clusters mainly. So just a little bit about the background. The ECP was launched in June 2021 to support Eureka clusters and to stimulate cooperation between the Eureka countries and the clusters, as well as between the clusters themselves. A key part of this ambition was and is still, of course, today to facilitate the availability and accessibility of all clusters calls, projects, data to the involved public authorities. And in this context, CELTIC-NEXT and ITEA, as we are the clusters the most active in IT systems and already providing backend systems to our colleagues from the other clusters, we have developed together a converged tool called PA Portal. So the portal is now released. It has been presented the first time to public authorities. We got feedback. We found bugs, as very often in software development. We have corrected as many bugs as possible, and during this year of feedback and tests and corrections. The PA portal is now online and operational, and if you have questions about the portal or if you find a bug, you can just send an email to feedback@eurekaclusters.eu. That's the mail to be used for this. What are the current features that you can experience and benefit from with the PA portal? It is providing you, public authorities, with a unified view and access to the ECP project's data. For example, the monitoring, the values, and so on. There are many, many things you will see in the demonstration that Johan will give you. The data stems from the cluster's backend systems connected through APIs. There are two ways to use the portal. One is to use the interface, and the other way is to connect with an API to the PA portal. The user access management, you would ask, okay, how can I connect to it? It's simply based on the fact that you should have already a login to one of multiple clusters within the ECP. You just need to use your credentials that you have for those clusters or this cluster, and we use the single sign-on mechanism between the clusters portals and the PA portal. There are different filters that are available based on country, organization type, cluster calls. Many of parameters are possible, and Excel exports are possible. And a very important point, a country can only access project data from projects which this country is participating in. There's a protection of information between the countries, so that a delegate from a country can only see projects where his country or her country is participating to. And from my side, it will be all, and I will pass the floor to Johan, except a few questions before.
Hello. Can anybody hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks for having me. I'm sharing my screen now. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Is it big enough?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good. Okay, so what we did together with the people from CELTIC is develop an information sharing platform where all the information for the connected clusters, that I think are all clusters now, which at least the clusters who are using an information system, so CELTIC and obviously ITEA and also Xecs are connected to this, and we have a daily update from all the project information from a labeled project on. So we don't include proposals which are not which did not receive the label. So as soon as the project has received the label, it will be visible in the portal. And it's available online, so everybody who has an account in one of the three mentioned services here can log in. I will now use the ITEA login, obviously, the system is connected to the corresponding backend. So if I use login via ITEA Office, I'm brought to the ITEA website. It asks for permission. That's a one-time. You need to explain to the system that it can use your account, and now I'm logged in. And normally it's indeed protected using your account or using your country setting. So if you are known as a funder in one of our systems, the details will be limited to your country, which means that any project where a member or a partner has joined, which is coming from your country, you can see that project. We have some special rights for people who are from the clusters. I'm using that now for this demo, so I see all projects. So if you use the system and you don't have access, please let me know, because then I can help you out. We can see if your settings are correct. But normally you should see projects. So I'm logged in now, so nothing special here. You can see normally here a yes when you are a funder. If you see two no's here, so no for funder and A's, let me know. I can help you out. So assuming that you have access, you have a list of projects here, which is basically the entry point. It's a list of all the projects ordered by date created, so the newest will be on top. And on the left, you will have some filters, which are, I would guess, pretty straightforward. So you could, for example, filter on all the running projects. You can filter on a cluster. Note that this also contains the projects from the joint calls. So therefore, sometimes you see a secondary cluster between brackets, which means that this is a joint. This is from the sustainability call. So also these projects are in. And you will see that on this line here, you see the really basic information. So the name of the project, the cluster information, the call, the start and end date, the status, and also a sum, so a lump sum, so a global picture about the latest version effort and the latest version cost. So this data will update gradually when a new version of the project is being accepted by one of the clusters. These figures will be updated in the portal as well. So let me filter on ITEA, because there I'm most familiar, of course. So I will take call 6, for example. You see here now a list of about 10 projects. Always at the bottom there is an export to Excel, which you can use to export this data to Excel for further analysis, for any kind of further reporting in your own institute. However, when you open a project, you can also see some more information about the project, quite some detailed information. So again, a repetition of the information from the general slide, but also here you see the technical area, which has been selected by the project. Again, a repetition of the total cost and effort, and also a description of the project. But I think more important, and also a really nice feature of this portal, and forgive me the amount of data, but well, I think you know with your background a bit what we are looking at. But first of all, you can see here the life cycle of the project. So if you have a one-stage call or two-stage call, it's not important. You will here see for an ITEA project, we have a 3-stage call. So you see here we have a project outline, a full project proposal, and now the latest version, which can be any next change request. And you see here also what happens throughout the life cycle of the project. It started initially with 24 million, and now due to partners, funding issues, whatever, in the end, the running project is now 13.5 million. Costs and also effort is 148 person years. And if you want to dig a bit further, that's also possible in the tool. You will see here a huge list of projects. This is quite a big project, but for the demo, I think it gives the best idea. So you can see here that, for example, initially this Datena company from the Netherlands has started in the PO and also in FPP, but then suddenly dropped out. So it's not visible anymore. But you can still see it here. So you can still see what happened in my country, which partners stayed, which partners dropped out. It's all visible in the project. It can also be the other way around. Apparently, in this project, later in the life cycle of the project, 2 partners joined, but they joined later. They joined even after the labeling. They joined the project. You can see here as well that which partner is the project leader. So that's Philips in this case here, and also which partners are active still in the project, which are those who are flagged without an inactive banner badge, of course. We also made some graphs here where you can see the distribution by different, let's say, organization types. So how is the spread for SMEs, university, and well, it's quite clear, I would say. Also the budget, the country spread in budget, and the same list, but then for effort and effort figures. Also here, yeah, so this is in a nutshell what you can see from a project. Another thing which is, I think, quite useful is a list of all the partners, where you can also filter on, let's say I want an overview of all the SMEs. You can see here 2 instances of this advanced packaging center because they apparently have participated in 2 projects from Benta. You can filter for your country on if you want to know what's the industry in ITEA. You just, if you want to do that, you can say, I will take the industry box and the ITEA box, and then you have a list of all the industry in ITEA. And then you can also export this to Excel for any kind of further data processing. What? Oh yeah, and also you can also filter for other countries, of course, so you can see what's my collaboration with, for example, Germany or France or whatever. You can use the filters to find examples of that. You can reach out to these companies or try to see report on that. Yeah, so the system is up and running, and we are trying to catch up with requests as well from either the ESA secretariat, but also from the countries. It's also possible to make your own connection to the system using your own software to have a data feed live to your own backend, but then that's something which we need to tailor made. So again, also for that kind of request, please reach out to me, and then I can help you further to see what the options are. So in short, this is what I could present here. Of course, when there are questions, let me know. And otherwise, you have my contact details, so feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Johan. So, okay, are there any other questions for the tool, for the online portal?
Yeah, if I may send your feedback to the address that I've put in the chat and which is in the, and then Johan and our team will receive it. But we can
there is a contact page here also where you can find the same email address. I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Xavier.
Yes, so just a small, to be precise, when you want to log in, you have three options. You can log in through CELTIC, ITEA, and Xecs.
Yeah.
For Smart and EUROGIA, it's always the CELTIC-NEXT portal. Just to be precise.
I cannot comment on that. I think we should, Xavier, answer that question.
Yeah, so because we are hosting Smart and EUROGIA on our backend, your login for Smart and EUROGIA would work if you click on the CELTIC-NEXT. We can add buttons specifically for Smart and EUROGIA on the login page. It will be redirected to our portal.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we as developers or as officers need to avoid, well, give you the correct credentials in the backend to make you a funder. And sometimes any funder could only be known in the CELTIC tool as a funder, then you should use that one. What sometimes happens is that you use ITEA assuming that there's also a funder record for you, and then you don't get the correct rights. Yeah, I can also set that up for you on the ITEA side. But if you use the feedback email address, it will be caught up by the corresponding person and will be handled for you. So that's the most convenient.
Yes. So there is a question from Liv. How is this portal connected to Smart? Simple. Smart, you mean the Eureka, the cluster Smart, I believe. So,
no,
yes.
This is the portal used by the Eureka Secretariat, I think, for the network and Global Stars projects.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is no connection at all between the two tools.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe one thing, there will be an API connecting the PA portal towards ESA, and ESA will include those data in the data lake, and then possibly we could display those data through their tools.
Yeah. Yeah, so, there are several options to make that connection. The system has been designed by us to allow external interaction by, well, of course, based on the access rights and the access levels. Always take that into account, but the idea is that the data transfer we do every 6 months or 3 months could be automated using this system. So that ESA has up-to-date information about the project portfolio, which I think is a good improvement for everybody. It saves time on our side, and the ESA has always access to the latest information. And I also have some discussions with countries, Swedish, for example, to have a direct connection to this system so they can use Python, data lakes, whatever they want to access the project information.
So there is a question from Peter from Canada. So Peter, you already get the access for the EURESCOM tool, in which you can see SMART and EUROGIA projects, and you have one login credentials. When you click on this portal and when you click on access via CELTIC-NEXT, a page will open from the EURESCOM tool asking you to authorize going into the online portal. So actually, you don't need to put again the credentials in case you already access the original tool in your computer. So it's like automatic. You will see it's very easy. So for SMART and EUROGIA, there are no differences in terms of credentials.
So in fact, in the backend tool, for a given login, we enable this login for a set of clusters based on of course, the authorization from the clusters. And based on those authorization, you can see, you can log in with one or the other. Maybe, Johan, that would be an improvement to have a button for SMART and a button for EUROGIA, even if it does bring back to the same as CELTIC-NEXT.
Yeah, we can set it up in the backend.
Of course, thanks. Okay. Are there any other questions? Otherwise, you can use the feedback tool. You show the feedback mail.